Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this is a summary of the astrology of March 2021, and I'm bringing it to you from the beautiful and now sunny west of Ireland. Now, all the charts in Western and Vedic astrology and the ephemeris of the movement of the planets through March are on our March 2021 Star Wheel Astrology webpage. So look there for the charts. And also on our March 2021 Star Wheel Astrology webpage is a list of all the parts of our March newsletter offering. It's a large, empowering and hopefully enlightening offering. There's 14 parts in total, so I'll just list them for you because they're quite wonderful. 1. In the USA, darkness will rise now to be healed. A survey of the astrology of Biden, Harris and Trump and how it will affect each of us. 2. The spiritual message of now. 3. Kamala Harris becomes powerful now. 4. Joe Biden declines now. 5. Donald Trump on the road to power. 6 is this section, the astrology of March 2021. 7, a really important analysis of the effect of the Mars-Rahu conjunction in Vedic Taurus in Rohini Nakshatra now in March 2021. 8. Wonderful transcendent dance sessions being offered worldwide online by Claire Louise Nifton, and they are at 7:15 every Monday evening. So for example, people in the United States can easily connect into them, although their time will be earlier in the day on Mondays. Such wonderful offerings. Section 9, the runes as a filter to the mind, written by Leah Cruz from Florida, who has many years experience of studying and using the runes for rune stance, rune chant, teaching the runes course and rune magic. 10. The Journey to the Abyss, my online offering, which can be so important to people and get such good comments. Journey to the Abyss. 11. The online course, Learn the Kabbalah with Elizabeth Hendricks from Portland, Oregon. A wonderful course, and the special extra dimension is that Elizabeth Hendricks actually transmits the energy of each Sephiroth as you learn it. Item 12, I've had quite a good load of really good testimonials in the last month, so I thought I'd share them to show how good my astrology readings are. Item 13, a relaxation audio by my wife Maggie Pashley, who does many healing modalities. This one's more related to her hypnotherapy work, and the title is Take Some Time Out to Relax. Very important. And last but not least, item 14, psychic readings and healings, also from Elizabeth Hendricks in Portland, Oregon, can be quite life-changing. One of hers certainly changed mine 5 years ago. So just a little note to say the sign degrees used in this brief March 2021 astrology summary are all from the Vedic sidereal zodiac. But if you want the sign degrees in the Western tropical zodiac, all you have to do is go and look at where the charts are on our March 2021 Star Wheel Astrology website page. So some of these items don't really require any particular additional comment in addition to what's written in the summary, which of course has a blog, and the blog link is below this video. But of course others are hugely important and require quite a bit of comment. So the Sun transits from 17 Aquarius to 17 Pisces in March 2021. Sun enters Vedic Pisces on the 14th of March. Sun starts March in Shatabhishak Nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu. But on the 5th of March, Sun moves into Purvabhadra Nakshatra. Oh, I turned over 2 pages. Hang on a second. Let's stop together. Here we are. Sun enters Uttarabhadra Nakshatra on the 18th of March, and Sun enters the final nakshatra of the wonderful 27 sign lunar zodiac on the 31st of March. Now note that Sun is in low dignity when Sun is in Aquarius, but in a bit better dignity in Pisces. And important things to note are that Sun is T-square the nodal axis on the 5th of March, and within orb of that, Sun days either side at 21 Aquarius. So that brings a fated dimension to Sun-inspired events, and anyone born at that time will have a particular missed step in their life now that they're being born into, around manifesting the super important qualities of the Sun. Goodness, Sun is conjunct Neptune at 26 Aquarius on the 10th of March. Will that person be an illusionist, or even a drug addict, or a mystic and an intuitive? So important to carefully manage the life of and the upbringing of someone who's born with Sun conjunct Neptune. So just to say that Sun in Aquarius is analytic and inventive, with a capacity for new realms of thinking, but negatively can be secretive and having low self-esteem, depressed or gullible. As I said, Sun moves into Pisces, and the Sun in Pisces is the peaceful dreamer, endearing to partners, philosophical, idealistic, but negatively can be lacking in confidence and achievement, and a victim who volunteers too much. Okay. That's the Sun in Mercury. In March. Let's move on to Mercury. Now Mercury transits from 20 Capricorn, but enters Aquarius on the 11th of March to end March at 29 Aquarius. Note that Mercury is conjunct Jupiter around the 4th of March. So Mercury moves through Shravana Nakshatra until the 5th of March, Dhanishta Nakshatra until the 16th of March, and Shatabhishak Nakshatra, ruled by Rahu, until the 25th of March, to end March in Purvabhadra Nakshatra. So let's move to Venus. Venus starts March at 11 Aquarius, and Venus enters Pisces on the 17th of March, ending March at 18 Pisces. Note that Venus is conjunct the Sun on the 25th of March at 11 Pisces. Now Venus in Aquarius maybe desires stability in love and has love for mature or older people and material things. But they are attracted to mysteries, fantasies, unusual people and philosophies. They can often get dysfunctional partners or partners who do not reciprocate affection or finances. Venus is in Shatabhishak Nakshatra at the start of March, entering Purvabhadra Nakshatra on the 9th of March and entering Uttarabhadra Nakshatra on the 20th of March, and on the 30th of March entering Revati, the final nakshatra. Now Venus is conjunct Neptune on March the 13th, and this is a major script in love and beauty. We people with Venus and Neptune sub-personalities yearn the ideal in love and beauty. But of course that can make us critical of normal love and beauty, because it can never match up to our yearn for ideal. So we have to be careful about joining the line of humans behind the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Okay, Mars. Mars transits from 4 to 21 degrees Taurus in March. This is where we start coming to the big energies. Mars in Taurus is the earth warrior. Indeed, given that Taurus is ruled by Venus, can be the charming earth warrior who can be a risk in relationships. But the very big thing is that Mars is moving into closer and closer conjunct with Rahu, the North Node, and that conjunction becomes exact on the 28th of March at 20 Taurus. And Mars is in Kritika Nakshatra, which is ruled by the Sun, until he enters Rohini Nakshatra, ruled by Venus, on the 11th of March. Now this Mars conjunct Rahu is absolutely vast. See my separate post on, well, for example, Joe Biden, where I feel it looks quite disastrous in relation to his natal chart, and see the effect of this violent Mars-Rahu conjunction, which is described in my first section, the USA Darkness Will Rise Now to Be Healed. It has a very good effect in Kamala Harris's chart, and indeed it's a first step on Donald Trump's resumption of his road to power. So obviously check out those other parts. Jupiter transits from 22 to 28 Capricorn in March. Now note that Jupiter is so fallen in Capricorn. And also, if you look at Rashi Avashtas, and I've mentioned this in previous newsletters, Jupiter gives and gives and gives to Saturn. And what does Saturn do to Jupiter in return? Saturn takes and takes and takes. So the divine importance of this is that Guru, Brihaspati, the divine face of Jupiter, is severely weakened in our consciousness and in the events of our life and the world. So we may need to do certain steps to make our own special effort to reboost and connect to the divine Jupiter. Every planet is a face of the divine. We don't so easily see how a planet is a face of the divine because it manifests in our consciousness and in our life through filters, as it were, like sign, house and aspect. But it's so important to us to see beyond our consciousness, beyond our events, to the divine nature of each planet, that each planet is a face of the divine, bringing an unfoldment of the divine, which we can open to and cooperate with, even though we might not know where it's going to take us. Okay, let's move on to Saturn. Well, Saturn moves from 14 to 17 Capricorn in March. Saturn spends all March in Shravana Nakshatra, ruled by the moon. And of course, Saturn is still part of the Saturn-Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. And so definitely check out my part 1 section, the USA Darkness Will Rise Now to Be Healed. And I say more about the Saturn-Pluto relationship further on in this newsletter. Uranus transits from 13 to 14 degrees Aries in March. And the important thing to note is that Uranus is actually square Saturn all March. So Uranus is in Bharani Nakshatra all March, and Bharani is ruled by Venus. And it's quite a fated energy. But just to say that when Uranus is square Saturn, let's remember, Uranus is revolution. Uranus is the storming of the Bastille. Saturn negatively is our blocks and prison walls. Uranus is smashing at them remorselessly all through this time, including this month of March. Okay, let's get on to Neptune. Well, Neptune transits from 26 degrees Aquarius to 27 degrees Aquarius. And Neptune starts March in a waning square to the nodal axis, now in an orb of 5 degrees. But that's so important because it's given the manifestation of Neptune a fated quality. So we have to check out, is what we're receiving through Neptune at this fated time illusion or spiritual intuition and inspiration? And sometimes they can be very mixed, and we have to distinguish which is which in a teaching, in a person. Pluto transits from 1 to 2 degrees Capricorn. This is in Uttarashadha Nakshatra ruled by the Sun. Chiron transits from 13 Pisces to 15 Pisces in March, in Uttarabhadra Nakshatra ruled by Saturn. The lunations. The new moon of March is the 13th of March at 28 Aquarius. That's in Purvabhadra Nakshatra. And on this day, the following planets are all in Aquarius with the new moon. Moon, Sun, Neptune, Venus, Mercury. The full moon of March is on the 28th of March 2021. Oh my God, that's the day that the Mars-Rahu conjunction becomes exact. Moon then is at 13 Virgo in Hasta Nakshatra, which is ruled by the moon. And the Sun opposite is at 13 Pisces in Uttarabhadra Nakshatra, which is ruled by Saturn. So I now want to go on to the major features of the astrology of March 2021 and look in them more deeply. So please go to my next video, which goes into depth on certain major March astrology features. Don't miss it. Please go on to the next in-depth add-on bit. Thank you.